Hi everyone, it's Shar and welcome back to my channel. You may be reading the title of this video and thinking, what the heck? Because you know that in 2024 I decided that I wasn't going to set any monthly TBRs, yet here I am in the first week of April setting a monthly TBR, and that is because my library has been coming through with so many of the exciting books that I placed on hold several weeks ago. As it tends to go, they all came in at one time, so I just want to sit down and go through the books that are on my priority TBR for the month of April, just because they're library books and they're due at the end of the month. Also going to be a little bit of a library haul if you want to consider it that, but I'm just going to jump in and tell you about the 11 books that I have checked out, and we'll start with one that I have to pick up tomorrow because it came in Saturday afternoon and I was out all day on Saturday. So I will pick this up tomorrow, and that is Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. I'm gonna move over just so you know I can put it here. Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. I don't know what this is about, but what I'll be doing in this video is I'll pop the summary somewhere else on the screen so that if you want to read the summary, you'll see it with the book. So I think this is a golf romance, and quite honestly, that's all I know. I just like this cover a lot, and I have not read a Tessa Bailey aside from this book here, which was fine. I think this is just going to be an enjoyable time to read, my little kind of palate cleanser book. Next book is Killing Stalking Volume 2. I really enjoyed Killing Stalking Volume 1. This is a manhwa series about a man who is stalking this other man that he's obsessed with. He breaks into his house and he realizes that the other man he's obsessed with is actually a serial killer, but why does this feel so crooked? Am I okay? Is actually a serial killer, and so it's too late for him by the time he realizes that he's a serial killer, and you're following their very toxic relationship throughout the series of like 6 books, I think. So book 2 I will get to. I've just been putting it off because the premise can tell you this is a pretty high anxiety situation. I've been struggling with anxiety for a few days, so I haven't read this yet, but I will be getting to it soon. Murder Road by Simone St. James. This is my third Simone St. James. The first one I didn't enjoy. The second one, The Sundown Motel, I did enjoy. This one I am hoping that I'm going to enjoy, but it is also the Book Troop Book Club pick at some point coming up. It's the story of this husband and wife who end up in the situation, kind of like a almost no exit type situation, where they are in a car chasing down some kind of murderer. That is the worst summary you've ever heard in your life, but good thing I have this summary on the screen. I've read Simone St. James before. I liked her, and I'm hoping I'm gonna like this too. And now we get to my TBR basket. Next I have A Tempest of Tea, and I have the audiobook for this on Everend, but I want to tandem read it. So this is the story of a tea house that's actually a front for like a blood bar, a place where vampires go to hang out, and I think there's some kind of mystery that they're trying to solve. This is my first time reading this author. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about this, but I'm really hoping that I'm going to love it. Where Sleeping Girls Lie. This is the story of a girl who goes to a boarding school, I believe gets the opportunity, and on her first day there, her roommate goes missing, and people kind of think that it's her, and she ends up involved in this group of other girls, potentially doing some chaotic and crazy shit. And I think you follow this descent. This sounds like something I'm really going to enjoy, with the exception of the whole academia YA bits, because I don't like academia and I don't necessarily love YA, but the premise of this is really intriguing, and I'm hoping I'm going to love this, especially because it's hard to see here because the cover is so glossy. It's a library book, but the cover is quite beautiful, with the exception of, you know, like my reflection in it. Then I picked up Thirst. This was very inspired by Riley, and this is a sapphic vampire story. It's following 2 different timelines. So one, we have our vampire who has moved to Buenos Aires after a series of wars in Europe, and she is just watching Buenos Aires develop over the centuries and living her life, you know? And then we're in present day Buenos Aires, where our other FMC is dealing with a very difficult situation. Her mother has a terminal illness, and she feels a very complicated relationship to motherhood herself. She ends up meeting our vampire FMC in a graveyard, and this is their story. Really, you had me at translated sapphic story. Like, that's really all I needed to hear. Sapphic vampires. This one makes me giggle. Raiders of the Lost Heart is a... What's that series called? With the Tomb Raiders? Is that a video game? there's a movie like that. I'm thinking Indiana Jones, but I don't think it's like Indiana Jones. But anyway, it's the story of two archaeologists. She gets the opportunity to go to her dream dig, exploring the ruins of this empire that she's super fascinated by and trying to discover a secret that they've been trying to discover for a long time. And she's like, oh my god, it's amazing, it's too good to be true. And she gets there and it is, because the person that she's on the expedition with is actually her academic rival, her arch nemesis, her enemy, if you will. So it's a enemies to lovers romance set on an expedition with like action adventure vibes. Much like Fangirl Down, I think this is just going to be like a fun palate cleanser, so I'm hoping that I'm going to love this. I finally have my hands on it! I've been waiting for this book since 2023 because the publication date got pushed back. I believe this one is also potentially sapphic or has some sapphic undertones throughout the story, but the invocation is like magical realism murder mystery is how I would describe this. These three women are brought together to chase down a supernatural killer, and they all have some kind of connection to this and some kind of connection to magic in some way or another. I'm kind of picturing The Craft, which, fun fact, I've never actually seen before, so that could be a really terrible comp. Kind of like that vibe, you know, like three magical beings getting up to something with a murder mystery subplot. I don't know what to expect from this one, but like all the other books, I'm hoping that I'm going to love this one, but it's definitely something I've been looking forward to for quite a while. And finally, we'll zoom past the mangas because I've spoken about these before. I also have the manhwa Killing Stalking Volume 3, which is a continuation of that story. I've heard mixed things about Volume 3, but I'm expecting at least a 3-star read so I can move on to Volume 4 because I do want to finish this series out as part of my goal to at least finish some of the series that I am in the middle of. And then the final 3 books I'm just going to hold together because it's volumes 2, 3, and 4 of Dougnuts Under a Crescent Moon, which would bring me to series completion with this because there are only 4 volumes. And this is a story of 2 women potentially falling in love. I don't think it's ever explicitly stated that they're in a relationship, but this is about navigating both of their sexual identities. At least this character here, one of our FMCs, she is struggling with what could potentially be like asexuality or aromanticism. She doesn't really know that term or label, but she's never felt a desire to be in a relationship. She doesn't really feel romantic attraction in that way, but she feels a lot of pressure from society for that to be something that she wants, and she's struggling with this. And she ends up meeting this person here, who is her coworker, who really doesn't care what anyone thinks, and she really admires that. They end up forming a bond. It potentially gets romantic. I don't think this character is aromantic. I think that they are like on the aro spectrum because they do develop feelings for this character. But I just appreciate seeing mangas and books that explore these kind of sexualities and the struggles that our FMC is going through. I have 2 audiobooks checked out from the library as well. I have Last Devil to Die, which is the final book in the Thursday Murder Club series. If you're new here, I am doing a video very soon. I'm talking like in a few days, very soon, where I go and gave the Thursday Murder Club series a second chance, and this is the final book that I have checked out. I'm almost done with it. And then I also have checked out A Lady for the Duke, which is the story of this woman who is living in London, I think. She's living a very quiet life, and she had a best friend who still lives nearby but doesn't recognize her because she is a trans woman, and when she was drafted into war, people thought that she died, and she took that opportunity to be able to live as herself. So she lives her life in this little area, but her best friend is devastated and thinks that he has lost his best friend. They come back together, and it is their love story. I'm super excited to read this. I love that it has trans representation, and I'm really hoping I'm going to love this one, especially because I have the audiobook for it, and I love listening to historical romances in audiobook format. And hopefully I'll be able to do a recommending queer historical romances book very soon. With that said, those are all of the books that I currently have checked out from the library. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you did enjoy it. I know the format was a little bit different for me, so let me know how you feel about the whole having the summaries in the video. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you in my next one. Bye!